Frontend Milo Vercel. Okay, I enter a mail after a password. So I can try to delete. Okay, delete, and a prompt will be okay. Uh, 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 which company built you? Okay, so send. Okay, I was created by the Gemma team at Google DeepMind. Okay, and if I try with a Mistral, okay, and a same thing, or I can update, okay, with Mistral AI, okay, update which company build you, send. Great. I was created by Mistral AI. It's possible to log in. It is possible to send a prompt. It is possible to update a prompt, and it is possible to delete a prompt. Also, it is possible to sign up. In the second part of this video, we will use React as front-end framework. To install React, we will use Vite. So Vite is a blazing fast front-end build tool powering the next generation of web applications. I copy directly this command, and in my main folder of my project Milo, I passed, and here I can specify the name of my application, front-end, as a front-end Milo. Okay, and if I click on enter, okay, so select my framework React and just JavaScript. Great. So cd frontend Milo. Okay, and in this folder now I can execute npm install. And finally I can execute npm run dev. Okay, so it is a landing page after React is installed with Vite. Let's start now to install Tailwind CSS. Tailwind CSS is a CSS framework to build modern and beautiful website. Click on Get Started. Okay, get started with Tailwind CSS using Vite. So I can copy directly and in my VS Code, open new terminal, cd frontend Milo. Okay, install. So in the file Vite config, in this file, import Vite, import Tailwind CSS from Tailwind CSS Vite, and add Tailwind CSS as plugin. So here I have React plugin, and now I can add Tailwind CSS. I can save and import Tailwind CSS to your CSS file. So if I copy and in my global CSS file, I paste. For example, in app component. Okay, so class class name equal test, and here after I have font bold. Okay, font 1 2 3, and here I have font bold. Okay, if I save, and if I see a result, yes, fit plus, and here after I have font bold. Okay, bold. Okay, underline. Great, great. I see my notification. Let's start now to install Daisy UI. Daisy UI is a Tailwind CSS plugin you will love. It provides useful component class names to help use write less code and build faster. So how to use Daisy UI package? So npm install, and in my global CSS file, in the CSS, I can add Daisy UI. In this step of our video, we will use React Router DOM to manage a different route of our app. So I copy directly the installations and in VS Code in my frontend project install. Okay, so I will define we will define the different route in a component app. Import browser router as router route routes from from React React router DOM. Okay, so here it is just example. I can delete also. We don't need app css import. We don't need also, and a different link. Delete. So I can write here router from browser router, and now I define a different routes. So here now I can define my first route. So I define a router login. Okay, a path equal element will be okay. So I don't need visa style, and we can delete. So delete. Okay, here also in the CSS we can leave, but it is not necessary. It is not necessary for our project, so I can delete. Okay, so let's create a component login. So I create a folder component, and in folder component I create a component login. On official website of Tailwind CSS, if I click on plus, I will see a a different beautiful UI component. And if I select application UI, and after I select a form, sign in and registration. So okay, so simple sign in to your account. We will use this example. Copy a code, React. I pass directly, and I can replace example by login. I don't need. Okay, I see. If I see app.js, okay, root, login, and let us try. I don't see anything. I have the error, reference error, login is not defined at app. Okay, So normal, so at app here now import login, import login from folder components and I save. Okay, clear. Great, all right. So if I see my app, so I can replace just a logo by a test Milo. My component title, HTML title one, and here Milo. If I save, okay, I have Milo, email address, password, and here we have forgot password. So I can delete also. Okay, not a member, star a. I can replace just a test by don't have an account, sign up. Okay, don't, don't have an account, and here sign up. Okay, don't have an account, sign up. Don't have an account, sign up. Alright, so I can define now my form. So class name space on submit, execute a function handle login, and here we define a function handle login, function handle login, prevent default, prevent default, console, console log, console log form submit, just for example. Okay, I see. So if I click on my button sign in, I execute my function handle login form submit. Just after our email input, let's add a spin, simple spin to catch the error. So class name test red 500, and here email or password incorrect. I can see email or password incorrect. Define a class email error. A const email error equal, we select this class document query selector a class email error. Okay, so now we need to have a package Axios. So Axios will help us to send easily the request, HTTP request. So install Axios. And I can write Axios be a post to send a data the address of our backend URL. So if I see my different requests on Postman sign in, for example, I send my request using the URL of my backend after API or to login. It will be the same thing here. And we need now to define the environment variable in our env file. So to define the environment variable using vit, it's very simple. Just vit env variable and mode. Okay, I create a file env, and here vit some key. I define a variable and also a value of my variable. Okay, but to call my variable, I use import meta env with some key. Okay, so here it will be import meta env, and now we can our environment variable will be fit backend URL. So in the main folder of my backend of my frontend app, okay, I create a file env. Okay, and in this file now I can paste my key, and a value will be with credentials. With credential true. So this parameter is in Axios docs request config with credentials. Okay, so here we specify true. Okay, and now we can specify a data of our request. So data, and our data will be email. In email we will define, and also a password. Okay. Function response local storage set item token. So here we use a local storage of our browser to save a token. In our backend, we receive a token. We receive a token. So we save this token in the local storage of our browser. So token will be response data access to token. And we can redirect the user on the page home. So location ref home. Okay. If we don't send a request, or if we have the error, okay, we can use catch, and we catch our error. Okay. Email error. Okay. Inner HTML, a JavaScript method. So inner HTML equal email or password incorrect. Okay. So here, VS Code import for me automatically. This thing I don't need, but I need now to import a use state. Import use state from React. Import also Axios. So here I define a const email. Okay, set email use state. Okay, then a password to catch also a password of the user. So password set password use state. Okay, so on input email, add a function on change. Set email now a target value, a content of this input, a target value. Okay, and a value will be a email. view state email. Okay, and now same thing for input password and change here set set password target value. Okay, and a value will be a password. Okay, so our data, okay, email will be a state email, and a password will be a password in the state is declaring. But so here now console log, okay, error. Okay, but here we have always passing error and unaccepted token. To resolve this error, I added just, and if I say I don't have again the error. Start now to add a component register. In my folder component, I create a component register. And a component register is very a same thing as a component login sign up. Okay, so it is the same thing. So I can copy directly a component login, and here we have, do you have an account sign in? So do you have an account? And here we have a sign in, and here also I can specify a route of for the component login. So I can specify just this thing, or I can complete login. Okay, and if I complete login in a component app, okay, I can change just my route, or I can add another route. So if okay, login, okay, execute also display also a component login. Okay, and here handle register. Export default function register. I change also my function, and it will be now in the register. Okay, try to make this. Okay, I see my component, and also if I try register, no route magic location register. Okay, so we need to add this route register. Okay, display a component register. Okay, and VS Code export automatically a component register. Okay, and in a component login, a last thing, I add this thing. Okay, do you have don't have an account sign up? So I add a route register, a route to sign up. Okay, and so a home page will display my component login. If I click on sign up, okay, I see my component register, and here I see my component login. So here it will be sign up, register, sign up. Okay, all right. And now if I see my logic const enter register, const email document select error. Okay, we send a data. Okay, and here if all right, we don't have a token. We don't have a token, and also sign up. Okay, we don't have a token. We sign up just and after we sign in. So here I can delete this line. Okay, so window location ref, and if I don't have a response, I redirect a user in the page on the component login. Okay, but if we have the error, we define the error uh, here. Okay, we are good. If I try now to execute my backend, so cd backend Milo, and I needed to activate a virtual environment. Okay, so Flask. Okay, so I start my backend server. Okay, and if I see my database, here for example, we have a data to login. We have the email and the password example Milo. So sign in. I want to resolve just this error. So here nothing. Okay, we will see we'll see the content test if we have the error. And also here in my component register. Okay. So if I try if I enter a bad password and I click on sign in, so I don't have my error here after my input, and a problem is here. So I don't write correctly a method. Okay, and I save. And if I see my code here, for example, I don't specify a good method. Okay, and if I try, I refresh a page, enter a bad password, sign in. Yes, I have my notification email or password incorrect. So please to make a same thing in the component register here, for example. Okay, write correctly a method einer HTML. Okay, great. So now if I try to enter a good email table, a good email, and also a good password, sign in. Okay, we are redirecting directly on the page home. Okay, no root major location home. Okay, normal. Okay, we will add this component, okay, to display the page home. Okay, so uh, if we sign in, we define a token. Okay, so I can verify this application. Okay, the address of my website, and here I have a link, my URL token. Okay, and also I have my token. Okay, so I can define a component home, export default function home, return welcome. Okay, so I can define my route home, home component home, execute a component home. Okay, so import home from component home. Okay, and if I see my page home, I can say welcome. Great, so we test successfully our route, our front-end route login, and we generate successfully also here a token. We generate our token. Okay, and now we can test a route sign in. So here register Okay, so I can test with this mail password. Okay, um, and here it will be sign up. Okay, so in my component register, sign up. Okay, sign up to your account, email, password, sign up. Okay, so if I click on sign up, okay, we see email or password incorrect, unauthorized. So we can see a problem. Okay, so a problem is a root, and if I see my backend sign up, okay, we use register. So here now I replace login by register. Okay, I save, and if I test again, email, I use a new email, a new password. I have just one email, one user in my database. So if I try to sign up a new user, sign up, okay, okay, we are redirected. And if I try to, yes, I have my user in my database. Okay, as our backend, as our backend. And also if I try to log in with this user, okay, email, password, uh, we can see a application. Okay, we can see a token. Okay, it is my token. Okay, we will use a count of another user, and we will see, we'll generate a new token. Okay, so now sign in. Okay, we are redirected on the page home. Okay, and also we have a new token. Okay, great. Let's start now to add a component navbar on our home page. If I see this example, okay, we have a navbar here. So on Daisy UI component, I have many navbar. So we can use this navbar, copy in the folder component, create a file, a component navbar. So export default function navbar and return our navbar. Okay, I save, and I can place here directly in my component home. So here div and navbar component. Okay, and if I see my page, I need to import. Yes, I need to import a navbar component. Import navbar. Okay, Okay, so now I have my navbar. So home feature has navbar link. So I delete, and here features home. Okay, okay, and if I see my page, okay, I have my navbar link, but on mobile device I don't see my modification. So I needed to add this modification also on mobile device. So here, and I replace. Okay, and now on mobile device I have my navbar link. Okay, so I can change a name base UI by the name of my application, Milo. So here, Milo. Okay, okay. So Milo, and here we have a button logout. So let's create another component logout. Export default function functions logout. So return just a button. Class name bg indigo test white padding round lead. Okay, and a test of my button will be logout. Okay, I save. So in my component navbar, I can replace my button by my component logout. So here, logout, and also import logout component. Okay, when I save, and if I see my app, okay, I have my button logout. So home feature Milo and my button logout. Okay, and now I can add a logic to log out a user. So here const and the logout. So here in a component login, we define we define a token with set item, okay, in our local storage, okay. And also we will use a method remove item of local storage to delete, to remove a token in our local storage, and also to log out a user. Local storage, remove item, and we remove the, the item token. So finally now we can redirect a user. Window location have equal, okay, we redirect a user on the page login. So here now my button, on my button I add a method on click. If a user click on this button, I can execute a function handle logout. Okay, great. So we can test logout, open my console applications. Okay, I have my token, and I click on the button logout. Okay, I don't have my token now, and the user is redirected on the page login. Let's start now to complete a page home as this example. Okay, so import use effect, also user state from React. And if I see my example, I have this icon, okay, and this icon come from le side React. So we can install install le side React. Okay, and if I search send icon, okay, we will use this icon, and also we will use this icon square pen, because if I try now to update, or if I try to modify my prompt, okay, we will use this icon, and we will use icon to delete a prompt, and this icon is trash. Okay, this icon trash. Okay, so import, so import send icon. Is it a component? So send square pen, and also trash icon from le side React. Okay, and so in my function home, I define a different state. So const prompt set prompt equal used it, and it will be a string, a test character. Okay, I define also another state, history. So const history set history user state, and here it will be URI. So we will save in visa state the all prompt of the user. Okay, so const also loading, const logging. If the user try to send a prompt, for example, hello, send. Okay, here it is a state, loading state. So loading, set loading. Okay, and by default it will be false. Okay, so now another state, const is Groq AI. Set is Groq AI. And also by default it will be false use state, false. Okay, we need now to have a state to manage a Mistral AI. Okay, so const is Mistral AI, set is Mistral AI. By default a state will be false. Okay, we need also to get our token. So constant token get item, and we get the item token in our local storage. Okay, great. So now we can try to display this test. Class name with full H screen, Flask call, and item center by padding 6. Okay, is Mistral AI. Okay, if it's true, we can display h2, a class name will be font and bold test, and a content will be you are using now Mistral AI. Okay, So you're using Mistral AI now, okay? But if not, display you are using Groq AI now. Okay, great. We can try to add our form, this form. So form action on submit, handle submit. So handle submit. We will define this function. Okay. So now div class name with a full also a test area. So on this UI we can see also a component as a test area. So test area row for okay column 60 placeholder enter your prompt a value will be prompt use state in our use state on change set prompt. We use now set prompt to update a prompt in a prompt of the user in our input test area. So set prompt, it will be now a we catch a test of the user in our state with a target value. Okay, class name full also resize known. Okay, test area it is a Tailwind CSS class. So test area install also test area neutral. So test area neutral, it is a color of our input test area. So here we can see a black color, for example. Neutral, we can see neutral here. And if I try to see a code test area, and here we have neutral. Okay, so test area neutral border. Okay, a border also will be neutral border. and margin top 20. Okay, so if I save, if I see a result, I will see many error just because don't specify my function handle submit. So let's try to do this. And here now handle const handle submit. It will be async function, asynchron function. So prevent default and just console console log form submit form submit. Okay, so I save. So if I see my page, okay, I can see my test area, my title, and also I can edit my test area. Okay, enter your prompt. Enter your prompt. Okay, right. So we use this class relative to manage a different button in our test area input. Okay, so after test area, we can try now to add a different button. So div class name Flask item center justify and gap 2. Let's add this button Groq AI. So here button type button on click. Okay, so set Groq AI will be true when the user click on this button. By default it's false, but when the user click on this button it will be true. And also set is Mistral AI will be false. False. We will see, you will see how I define set is Groq AI true and automatically set is Mistral AI false here on this button. Okay, Groq AI. Okay, great. And I can add a class name absolute button button 2 btn. So here we use a Daisy UI button. So if I save and if I see my code, okay, I can see my button here. So try to search button on Daisy UI. Okay, and you will see BTN neutral, BTN primary. BTN primary is this button color. Now I can add also Mistral AI button. This button. I copy directly Groq AI button in the here. I replace. So a name will be Mistral AI. If I save, okay, I don't see anything here, but I see my button. Okay, so I need to change a position and also a color. We can test just with BTN secondary. It is also Daisy UI color BTN secondary, and if we see here BTN secondary, okay, and if I see my code, I can see my button. So now I need just to change a position. Okay, so here margin right 10. Then if I save and if I see, yes, I have my button as here. Okay, so now I need just to place this button, send button. So now we can continue, and I can place my third button and a name. I replace just by my le side React icon send. Okay, and a class name. When I save, if I see a result, okay, I don't see anything, but it's here. Okay, I need just to change a position. So here, for example, I can use margin left 2. If I save, okay, I see correctly my icon. Okay, so now if I start to write, okay, I can see this color on my button, and we can try to make this. So here now this button will be submit to send a prompt. Okay, and disable it. Okay, not a prompt time. So it is a method of JavaScript, a string prototype method. So for this example, const greeting hello world. Okay, and if I use a method string, okay, my test hello world will be clear without a space. Okay, and I can copy directly this class name. And here, if I want to use a condition, I need to use this thing. So here I can delete it just for example. Okay, so absolute. Okay, so I don't need to have a button. Yes, button primary, a color. I can use directly on it full transition. So yes, if I don't enter a prompt, it will not be possible to click on the button. But if I try to enter a prompt, okay, button is now selecting. Let's start now to add a function handle submit. Okay, so here const handle submit. Okay, set loading will be true. We send a prompt, and set prompt will be clear, just because when the here for example, when the user send a prompt, okay, set prompt, it's clear in our test area. Okay, so set loading true, set prompt clear. Okay, so now we will use now a block try and catch. So try, and here catch. Try to send a request, catch to catch the error when we have the error. Okay, so I define a const AI type. AI type. So is Mistral AI? Is Mistral AI? Okay, Mistral. And if not, okay, it will be a Groq. It will be so Groq AI. So Groq AI. Okay, because if we see our backend, our API, we send a prompt using by a type of AI, Mistral or Groq, Groq Cloud AI type. Okay, so I define a const to catch a type of AI. So now const rest await Axios post. I needed to specify now the URL of my API, my backend API. Okay, So import meta env with backend URL API, and if it is Mistral, AI type will be Mistral. If it is Groq AI type will be Groq AI as a backend API or Mistral, and here Groq AI. Okay, as a data it's prompt, yes, prompt. Okay, a key is prompt. Okay, headers, I need to specify a header. I must specify a headers. Authorization. We specify the authorization bearer token. Okay, so it is important to send a prompt. So authorization, same thing also. I can define now another variable const new entry equal, and in this object I can save my response. So res data id prompt res, okay, data prompt response. I define response, and the response will be also rest data response. Rest data, okay, response. Okay, so I can add this data in my state set history. So I give all the history, all history, okay, and now and I enter my my new my new new entry, my new response API. So and this is new entry. Okay, but if we have the error, const catch error, console error, console error to send a prompt. Okay, and we can add the error. Okay, and also finally set loading now, it will be false. Okay, so I save. So here I needed to import Axios. Import Axios from from Axios. Okay, so we can try to log out, try to log in, and try to generate a new token. Okay, so if I click, if I send a prompt hello, send, um, I don't need to add this method. Okay, I add this method just for the test. Okay, so after the test, I can delete. Okay, and also the problem is here. So prevent default. Okay, I save, I refresh the page, and if I try hi, send, okay, my page is not refreshed automatically. And if I see my backend, okay, I send correctly my prompt, okay, using Groq AI by default. Post API Groq AI prompt, okay, I have a good response to Android. Great. So now, if I try to select Mistral, yes, I click on Mistral. Normally, when I click Groq I will see you are using Groq AI, and when I click Mistral AI, I will see you are using Mistral AI now. So I can resolve this error. Okay, is Mistral AI? You are using Mistral AI now. You are using Groq AI. So let's see a button. Okay, Mistral AI. Okay, so if this button is a button for Mistral AI. So Mistral AI, and with Mistral AI, set is Groq AI will be false. If is Mistral AI, set is Groq AI will be false. And self set is Mistral AI now will be true. Okay, and if is a Groq AI button, if we click on a Groq AI button, set is Groq AI will be true, and set is Mistral AI will be false. Okay, great. And if I try now, Mistral AI, yes, you are using Mistral AI now. And if I click, you are using Groq AI now. Okay, great. So try again to send a request, but now with Mistral AI. So I select Mistral AI and I click hi, send, and I have a good response in a good link also in my backend terminal API Mistral prompt good response 200. Okay, and if I try again with a Groq AI, Groq hi, send, okay, I have also a good response, a good length, and now API Groq AI prompt 200 response. Okay, and try now to see our database. A user is Osiris example prompt, and the ID is 1. Okay, and prompt now, okay, user ID 1. Okay, 11111. Okay, hi, hi, hi. Okay, okay, and I see a response also. So let's start now to see. together how we can add a logic to display our prompt and also the response of AI. So here I define a const fetch prompt, fetch prompt equal async try. We'll send a request and catch. When we see, when I see our backend, we send a request using this address and we have authorization by token. So here in my try block, I define a const res await function Axios get because we receive a response, and now I can specify the URL. Okay, so const rest equal await Axios get, and now I can specify a header of my request. So here headers authorization, and my authorization we use a token. Okay, and uh, if we have a good response, we can save our response in our array, in our state set history res data. Okay, and if we have a the error, we can catch the error in here console error. Okay, error to display a data, and we specify the error. Okay, so I have the error because I forget to specify just okay. I forget how to write correctly the function fetch prompt. Okay, okay, so here I don't have the error now, and I can use a use effect to execute my function fetch prompt. So use effect execute fetch prompt if the user refresh a page or if of a page of a user is refreshed. Okay, so now we are we are good. And if I try to see my my state set history, component, home. Okay, so here I have a different state. State 2, I have my different prompt in AI response. When I see my project example, I display a prompt of the user in a right and also a possibility to edit a prompt and also to delete a prompt with Lucid React icon. And I display a response of the user in left. So here now we will define a function to manage a prompt of the user and to manage also to display a response of the AI. So here I define a function, functions display and edit prompt. When I see my state, I can see that for each result, we have the ID of the prompt, we have the prompt, and also we have the response. Okay, and we will use this parameter in our function to manage a prompt, to update a prompt, and to delete also a prompt. So I will use this ID. Okay, so now define a state const edit prompt and also set edit prompt equal use state and it will be the ID of our prompt. So ID prompt. Okay. I define also another variable in my state is editing set is editing, okay, user state false. Okay, and with this state we will know when we can display this test area, this input to update a prompt of our user. Okay, so now return. Okay, so div a first block, and in this block I can define another block, div class name. So now we try to display a prompt of our user here. Class name Flask justify end. Okay, and also I can try to display this prompt div in here, id prompt. Okay, I save. So now I can try to display our the prompt, the all prompt of the user. So here after a title, div class name full mass with 4. Okay, so here now I can try to use a function map of a React. So map React. Okay, in React.js, map array method is a fundamental JavaScript. It's not how is using map. Okay, iterating over array. Okay, and returning a new array. So here now history map, and I specify a key map. So for each item in my array, execute now a function display in the edit prompt. Okay, and if we use a map React method, we need to specify a key. So a key will be item and ID of our array. Okay, and we use in our function display and edit array, we use a parameter ID. Okay, and ID will be item. Okay, so ID will be each item. Okay, each item in our state, history, URL. If I click on my key, okay, I have ID. Okay, so ID as props, it is this ID. We define this ID as props as parameter. ID, ID equal item. Okay, and now we access the ID. Okay, right. Let us try now to add a different icon to edit a prompt and icon to delete a prompt. So here I place another div class name Flask justify n. Okay, and here another div class name Flask. Okay, and we import the icon to edit a prompt square pen. Okay, so here square pen. So on click, so set is editing will be true. Okay, and also we can add the icon to delete a prompt. So this icon trash. On click, I want to add on this icon another props to manage the action when the user click on this icon trash. So this prop will be on delete. Okay, and I specify the item of the euro. Okay, so ID here we specify that ID is item of euro. So ID, okay, our item, okay, and finally we specify the ID of our item. So finally I can add a props on delete. So on delete. Okay, so when I save, okay, so I can see my result. Okay, so which company build you, but the icon must stay here in right, not in left. We will resolve this problem. So to resolve this error, I need just to write a correct class name. When I save, great. Let's try now to add a possibility when the user click on this icon, we can display this input, this test area. So here I can add a condition is is editing. If true, we display so a test area. Class name test area, test area primary, margin button 5, and also test area a size, a big size. Okay. A value, we can catch a value of our test area, so a value will be edit prompt. Edit prompt, ID prompt. So a value will be a prompt of the user. Here, for example, if I which company build you, okay, which company build you, okay. And property on change e set edit prompt e target value. Okay, okay. Is editing, we display our test area, but if not, we display just our prompt. So here, JS's element, okay. So I must have another div. Okay. When I save and if I try, yes, when I click, I have my input, my tester area. But I don't have the prompt of the user. Okay, I need to have, I must to have a prompt of the user. So value edit prompt, and if I see edit prompt, okay, I define ID is item of the array, okay, and I select now ID, finally prompt, okay. So I save, and if I try again, yes, I have my prompt. So we can add now a button to send a prompt and to close a prompt. This button send and to close a test area. So here I add is editing, and if right, add a button on click set is editing will be false, normal, okay. And here now I can add a content name of my send, my button, okay. Also I can add a button close, okay. Directly a button will be close. Okay, and here on click set is editing will be also false. So is editing. Okay, I display my button, and if not, I can display my icons. Okay, so here I have here JS's expression must have one parent element. So here just I add a div. Here I can close my div. So I save now, and if I try to test, okay, on click, okay, I have my button send close, and I don't have my icon because I have a condition is editing. Okay, we display just a button send and a button close. If not, we display the icon. Add a class name on my button. So send class name Daisy UI button. So BTN primary margin right 2. Okay, and a second button close class name btn neutral. Okay, save. If I try again, okay, same close. Okay, so now I want to add a property when the user click on the button send. Okay, and it will be another props on our function display and edit prompt. Okay, on click I add now property another props on update. Okay, and to update a prompt, we need to have the ID of the prompt, and also a content, a new content. It will be a last content or a new content, just a content and this ID. And to have the ID of the prompt, okay, we select the array, and in our context the array equal ID the array, and after ID of this array. Okay, and finally we select a prompt, and in our function display and edit, okay, a prompt, it will be edit prompt. Okay, and in this state we have a prompt of the user. Okay, a prompt that the user want to update. Okay, we have a new prompt in our test area, set edit prompt. Okay, new prompt in set edit, a new prompt in our test area, set edit prompt. Okay, so here I specify just this prompt is our state edit prompt. Okay, so I need to add this props on our function. So on delete, after now on update. Okay, when I save and I see my apps. Okay, okay, I have my a prompt of a user and I can update. Okay, hello, I can close. Okay, I have a new prompt of a user because we use a set edit prompt to catch this new prompt. Okay, but if I click on the button close, okay, I have a last prompt of the user, and this prompt is in our early set history. Okay, and this prompt come from our database. Okay, and when we will click on send, when we will add a logic send, okay, we can send now this prompt in our database, and when we refresh, okay, this new prompt will be stay here, will be displayed here. Okay, because we will modify this prompt with this prompt. Okay, let's try now to display the response of the AI. If I see example, the response is in left. So here in my function display and edit prompt directly, I can try with another div class name margin bottom for Flask justify star to display a response on left star. Okay, another div again to specify here a width max with test star also. Finally, I can use a paragraph class name test grow 700 white space, and in this paragraph I can try to display my EA response. To display the response of AI, we will make a same thing. So ID as item, ID again, and finally a response. Okay. Here, for example, response. Okay. So when I save and when I see, great, great, very, very great. I have here now a response AI, and it is the same thing as here because it is a same database. Let us try now to add a function to manage our props on delete and also our props on update. Okay, I can add directly my different props on delete equal and an update will be equal handle update. Okay, and also I can try to add a logic to loading when we use a send a prompt. Here, for example, if I try with hi, okay, I have a logic to loading. So let's add this logic. Then just here, loading, okay, if true, I use a div class name max with space div class name flash justify star. Another block div okay, save. Okay, so when I try with hi, okay, I see my loading. I have the error just because I don't define a function handle delete and handle update. So when I save and when I see my my app, and when I try with hi, okay, I see my loading, and after I have my response. Let's start now to add a component, a function until updates. Try and catch. Okay, so I define const a AI type. Okay, is Mistral AI. A type of the AI will be Mistral, but if not, a tab will be Groq AI. Okay, so to send a request to update a prompt, we send this request by the type of the AI. Okay, so we need now to know which AI will you use to update a prompt of our user. Then await Axios. So I need to specify the URL, and if I see Postman update prompt with Mistral, okay, API Mistral prompt in the ID of the prompt, okay, and in body we specify a prompt, and here new prompt. Okay, so I have the error new prompt is not defined just because, okay, I need to define in my as a parameter for my function the ID of the prompt, okay, that you wanted to that we wanted to modify, and also a a new prompt. Okay, so here it was for just example. Okay, so new prompt header now. Okay, authorization, and we use a token as authorization to update a prompt. If all right, I can try now to refresh to update a prompt. But if we have the error, we will catch the error in console error to update a prompt, and I can specify the error. So let's try now to add a function const handle delete to delete a prompt. Okay, so here I catch the ID of the prompt, try, and the catch, and in my block try, await Axios delete, and I can specify now the URL. Then I specify a header, authorization. So if all right, I change my state array history, okay, and I display only, okay, the item without delete. Okay, without our our contain vid that that we delete. And so catch error console error to delete a prompt, and I specify the error. If I try to test update my prompt, which company build you, if I click on send, oops, we have error on update is not a function. Okay, but if I try to delete, we have also a same error. So if I see my code, a problem is here. A problem here, I don't specify a prompt correctly. I specify a prompt as parameter of a function display and edit company. So I must add, okay. So if I save, okay, if I save now, I don't see my my prompt and also my result. If I see my component, okay, if I see my component, I think that display and edit prompt, we have a two state. We have a state edit prompt, okay, and we have also a state is editing, okay. So here is edit prompt undefined and is editing false. Just because when I specify correctly my props, okay, I can access directly as a here, okay, use state ID directly prompt, okay. And if I select again my component display and edit, okay, I see my state in a prompt which company build you. And if I try to update which company build you again, okay, I can see a changement in my state, okay. So we have always the id as an item, okay. Id after I have my item, then I have my id and a prompt and also a response, okay. We have always the id as a item, okay. So id directly prompt, okay. I will make a same thing to display my prompt and also the response of AI, okay. So here it is my prompt, okay. I have my prompt and also I will make a same thing to display a response of AI. So here we display a response of AI. If I save, I have also a response of AI. Okay, so home, my component, edit prompt. Okay, set edit prompt first. If I click set edit prompt, is edit prompt will be true. Set is edit prompt will be true, and my state is my state edit prompt works also. Okay, hi. So we can try to test. So if I click, okay, so it does not see the ID of a prompt. So here we have localhost prompt object, and if I see on click on delete the ID, so I can complete ID. Then okay, so ID has my item, and then a key ID in this item. ID as my object, and after a property ID in this object. Okay, so if I try now, okay, I don't see a changement, but in my backend I can see delete API Mistral prompt, and yes, now I have a good ID. Okay, but I don't see a changement here, but uh, we specify Mistral prompt normal because in our backend, a route to delete a prompt is API Mistral prompt after ID of a prompt. Okay, so it is normal to have API Mistral prompt after ID as a route. Okay, so here we don't see a changement just because we needed to execute to call again our function fetch prompt after we delete a prompt. So here const handle delete, set history, okay, and finally fetch prompt. Okay, so when I save and try to refresh a page and also a console, and if I click on this prompt, for example, delete, okay, great now. Okay, I refresh my page, I refresh my state history, right? And also if I see my backend, okay, get I call again fetch prompt, get API Mistral prompt. Okay, great. So now we can test to update, okay, a prompt. Here I can try with hi, send. Great, great, we are good also. So now we can test with a different AI. Okay, so I select delete. Okay, so I select Groq AI, okay, or Mistral AI. Okay, I can test with which company build you, send. Okay, so I was created by Mistral AI. Okay, so I can update, and now I can try to use Groq with Groq API with Gemma, Gemma AI of Google. Okay, so Groq AI Cloud. Okay, and if I try, okay, which company build you same prompt using Groq Cloud AI as a Gemma, send now. Okay, I was created by Meta, a technology company that operates several well. Okay, so we are we are good. Okay, and also if I click on delete, okay, All right, I can try to see my database. Okay, I don't see anything, but I will see my users. Start now to deploy our project on Vercel. Sign up, sign in, and also connect your GitHub repository with your Vercel account. Okay, so here yes, I push my front-end project on my GitHub account. And if I try to click on add new project, okay, my project here is Frontend Milo. Frontend Milo, okay. And if I click on import, okay, Frontend Milo, I have we have environment variables, and my environment variables, if I see my, okay, and if I copy directly in here, I passed. But this environment variable is a local environment variable, but we deploy our project online with a render. So I can try now to copy to use my backend link. Okay, my backend online link. So if okay, so here I can paste. I passed. Okay, we are good, and I can click now on deploy. Okay, so we are good. We are good. Vercel C, we are good. So continue to dashboard. My project domain name now is Frontend Milo Vercel app. So if I click, okay, I have my my login page. So let's try to log in. So here, if I click on logout on my local, okay, I log in with this address email. So and if I try to use my password, okay, so sign in. So I have the error not found, code not found. Okay, it does not find our component home, the root home. It does not find this root. So I create a file Vercel JSON, Vercel JSON to help Vercel to find all a destination of my project. Okay, so rewrite, okay, source, okay, and a destination will be this thing, okay. And when I save, okay, and when I try now to push this modification on GitHub, add Vercel JSON file. Okay, so when I push this modification on GitHub deployment, Okay, Rudy. Add Vercel JSON. Okay, current production. Okay, so let's try to test again. Where it is my original project. Okay, and if I try with a new project, Frontend Milo Vercel. Okay, I enter a mail after a password. Yes, yes, now we are good. Okay, we are good. We are very, very good. So, a problem is just okay, create a file Vercel JSON and add this code, and you will be okay. Okay, so now you are using now Groq Cloud AI, okay, and we use Gemma, Gemma of Google. And if you see uh, our backend tutorial, okay, you will know how you can change how you can change your AI mode. So Groq Cloud using Groq Cloud. Okay, so here, for example, okay, we have many AI models. Okay, and if you see the backend tutorial, you will know how you can change a models. But here of in our project, we use Groq Cloud, okay, and a model it's Gemma of Google. So okay, I can try to delete, okay, delete, and a prompt will be okay. Uh, 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 which company built you? Okay, so send. Okay, I was created by the Gemma team at Google DeepMind. Okay, and if I try with a Mistral, okay, and a same thing, or I can update, okay, with Mistral AI, okay, update which company build you, send. Great. I was created by Mistral AI. Mistral AI is a company based in Paris, France, developing large language models. I am very grateful. Okay, so our app works correctly. Okay, it is possible to log in, it is possible to send a prompt, it is possible to update a prompt, and it is possible to delete a prompt. Also, it is possible to sign up. Okay, you can try, you can try if you want. Okay, so it is also possible to log out. Okay, email. If I try to bad email, for example, and a password, sign in, email or password incorrect. But if I try with good email and also good password, sign in now. Okay, so I am redirecting correctly. Okay. Okay, so we are good. We deploy correctly our our backend. We deploy correctly our front end. So, if you like this video, please give me a like on YouTube. Please comment. Okay, please share in this video. Okay, and see you for the next project. Okay, goodbye.